If you want to watch a glossy puff piece review on why this car's great, then you're going to have to watch some other review. Sadly, I give you my honest opinion on this car. If that's what you want to hear, well, buckle up. Here we go. Here's another one, 35k an hour, coming in at 80, 79. Change of direction. That's actually pretty good. Here it is, tight. It's actually better than I thought. I'm starting to relax a bit now. Set cruise, 100. Cruise control is one thing that does actually work well in this car. Today I'm in the Chery Omoda E5 fully electric, front wheel drive, 160 kilowatt or something, little EV. And normally on our channel we review classic sports and exotic cars and we love them. This is anything but that. This is your consumer appliance. It's a refrigerator on wheels, it's white, it's got jaggy lines in the styling, and I'm going to be pretty harsh on it today, as you'll see in this video, but I know every time I get in an EV I go, oh, it's the latest and greatest, isn't this fantastic? This one isn't. It's a really good car for people who don't really like cars. So if you don't like cars, buy this car and stop watching this channel, because this is a channel for people who do like cars. The interface needs help. Overall, it's actually a good car. There are a lot of little things I don't like, and there's a few things that really piss me off during the day today, but there are a lot of good things about it. Firstly, the interior, it's really nice. The seat's good. I've been in it for 6 hours now. It's fine, nice and comfy, good seating position. Unusual to get all that right. It's actually a classy environment. The road dynamics are actually better than I thought. I was being pretty tough on it before around town, but now we're out on the open road, it's actually quite livable. It could be the car for you, and even the petrol version, dare I say it. You think I'm an EV evangelist, but even the $27,000+ whatever petrol version of this could be a good car. But this one's 45, something like that. So there are a few little compromises that come with an EV, as you'll see as the day goes on. Not really a fault of the car. It hasn't been a good day charging side, but don't let my ill humor dissuade you from watching the whole thing. I start off a bit grumpy this morning, but it gets better, and now the day's almost over and the car's actually driving pretty well. So stick with it. The Chery Omoda E5. Wow, and that guy on his Kawasaki was doing about 180, I reckon, which we're not, because we don't want to do that. We're doing exactly the speed limit. Right, on with the review. And we're off. Road trip today. Why? It's a family EV, and of course the first thing they ask you when you talk about it, why don't you get an EV, is range. How far can I drive it? So today we're going to find out. They claim 430 k's WLTP, but the numbers don't add up. It's got a 60 kilowatt battery, 61, and it claims at around 15.5 kilowatt hours per 100k, and that kind of points to something under 400k. So we're going to do a reasonable 400k's today, road trip, and we'll see how much you enjoy as we chase down this police car in front of us, the Chery Omoda E5. Now, when I first picked this car up, I thought, wow, what a cool interior. Look, these two 12-inch screens. It's actually, first impressions are really very good. This is, way above, like the MG4 that we loved so much. Really great car, but the interior is positively austere by comparison. But then as soon as I started to drive it, the honeymoon was over. Steering feel in any mode, we're in sport, go back to eco, and it just goes lighter. But it's horrendously vague. I feel like I'm in an old combi, just trying to, if you're in an old combi, normal, how noisy is that course mix? Okay, course mix noise, stop in 2. That's better. Cars like this, on a trip like this, should be a really relaxing experience. And so far it's not, because I was just having to work the steering wheel so hard just to keep it pointing in a straight line, fighting against the assistance functions. Now thankfully, in a second I'm going to pull over so I can legally turn those things off and they're not going on again. Quite a bit of wind noise coming through here. Okay, safe turn off area right here. Try the brakes out. Up the hill. Yeah. Turn around. Nice. And I look just like a silent police car waiting here, so the next guy to come around is going to hit the brakes real hard. Yeah. Yeah, you looked worried. Car, driver assistance. And they all look the same. Autonomous emergency brake assist on. Lane departure warning off. Confirm. Lane departure intervention off. Confirm. Now don't come on again. Get some music happening. Next stop, Laguna for a pork and fennel roll. Hey, I'll tell you another thing. If you're about to take off and you forget which car you're driving and you put your left blinker on and you go, I'll just go left blinker to go out here, and then, Jesus, I'm going backwards, straight into the car behind you, because that's not your blinker. It looks like it. That's your drive selector. So that's a little worry. There's your blinker. All right, now we can go. Oh, chirpity chirp. Oh, jeez. Massive torque steer. Let's do that again. Full throttle. A little bit of a lag there. Wow. Wow, that walked all over the lane. Well, if I seem a little bit unimpressed so far, well, you're right. I am in a bit of a grumpy mood. In anything other than sport mode, the steering felt quite vague. So on the freeway, I thought I'd use the lane keeping function, which was just not good. It had me ping-ponging back from one side of the lane to the other and just made me look drunk. And it was too hard and fiddly to go through the menus to turn it off while I was actually driving, so you have to pull over. Look, the day actually didn't get off to a good start. Being a road trip, I wanted to charge to 100% before we left. Early this morning, and not for the first time, the car would not release my charged lead. I say mine because you don't get one with the car. Obviously we can't drive because we want to get rid of the lead. It's not charging because it's not plugged in. Charging stop, that just sets the levels. Don't want that. I just want to release the plug. Come on. Charging port. Please close the charging port door. Well, I can't do that because the cable's stuck into it. Nope, none of those. Now, where is our home button? There is not one. There's nothing on the wheel. There's no back button. There's no home key. If you want to go to home menu, you just have to wait till it gets tired of that screen and then comes back again, way down there. That is so annoying. You need to have home or back buttons somewhere, either as a button on the wheel or somewhere you can push, but there is not one. So, back to the problem at hand. How do we release the charge lead? Nothing there. Okay, vehicle settings. Oh, and now we'll go through. No, I didn't want that. I wanted vehicle settings. Now I'm on aircon. Swipe the aircon down and we're back on that. Still no home button. There it is. Home button, vehicle. Anything to do with charging. Driver assistance. No, nothing here either. And they all look the same, don't they? Look at that. They all look the same. Yep. Thankfully it does remember your settings, except for this one, driver detection system alarm, which it turns on every time you get in the car. You might say, what is brake pitch control sensitivity? Doesn't tell you a lot about it, but you can choose low or high. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. I want to stop charging so we can start driving. It's waiting time until full charge. It has a full charge. It's stuck in some loop where it doesn't tell me the charge cable's in. It won't let me do anything with the car. It's in a waiting mode. I plug it in, it does nothing because it's already at 100%. But it's still stuck and the lights are still on. And you can tell I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed. And lock yourself. Unlock. Finally. That shouldn't have taken 3 or 4 goes. Let's see if we find the same problem later on in the day. So as far as I can tell, the problem was I needed to have even though this is open, I needed to have the bonnet physically closed or it wouldn't properly lock the car to then go through the cycle of lock-unlock, to then think about having to release the cable. So I think that was it. So in the end, I searched around and I was about to disconnect the 12-volt battery, and that wouldn't have been a smart idea. I found the hidden manual release, which is okay at home when you can turn off the power, but not something you'd really want to do at a public fast charger while it's still charging. Now, I will also add that the physical owner's manual in the glove box was absolutely no help at all. Now, there's actually nothing to be found on the screens to instruct the car to release the plug, which is weird, and the first of many software omissions and glitches I was to find in my whole week with this car. So I thought I'd use the phone app. With every other modern EV I've tested, there's an app to at least monitor your charging, unlock the car, that sort of thing, and release the plug. Now, there is a My Chery app, but not for the Chery EV in Australia, so no app. Anyway, I finally got underway with a full battery and an indicated range of 400 kilometres. But you can tell I was already annoyed and desperately in need of a coffee. Look, I don't want to be too harsh on this car up front. It's actually a really nice interior, it's a nice car, it's a lot of car for the money, and there are a lot of good things about it. And I think all the things that I don't like about it are related to the software and the calibration. So they're all fixable, hopefully with an over-the-air update. Except this car doesn't support over-the-air updates. Anyway, let's keep driving. All right, I've calmed down a bit and got used to the steering. Once I turned all the assistance functions off, it's actually better. But it's still rubbery, dead spot. It's almost like it's sticking. You know, it sticks in one spot and doesn't want to move. Let's go this way. So if you are coming out, this is where we take the turn. We don't want to go back to Gosford. We want to head out towards Central Mangrove and Wollombi, where the Wollombi pine comes from. How are we going so far? 82% battery already, 17.9 kilowatt hours per 100k. Well, it was freeway, so that's less than optimal conditions for a car like this, so maybe it'll get better. And you imagine doing this on the fly when you're driving. You should not do this. Now, I like a bit of regen. We've only had regen level 1 on the freeway, which is good. If this was a Hyundai, I could just use the iPedal or something to change it. There needs to be some easy way to change the amount of regen, if you like changing regen, as I do. You'd think you'd go to car, vehicle settings, driver assistance. Nope, it's not in there. Vehicle comfort. No, not in there either. How about vehicle settings? No, it's not in there either. No buttons for it. Really awkward. Until you discover go back to home, go to your apps, New Energy. That's our charging app, where normally you'd see your history of how your usage has been. You don't get any of that, just get a plain screen. But under other settings, there you can find regen level. A long way away, so I'm going to change it now to high, which is what I like for the twisty bits that are coming up. Off the throttle, here we go. Look out, bit of wheel spin and... Now I'm sorry to say my microphone's mucking up again, so I'll tell you what's going on. Hey, you know how some taxi drivers are so jerky on the gas pedal that they make you feel crook? Well, I'm a rally navigator, so it's not easy to make me feel sick. But using the level 3 regen, my own driving is making me feel sick. Why? Using their one-pedal driving mode, if you like, there's this awkward pause when you get off the gas before it starts applying the regen and slowing down. And when you get back on the gas, another pause before it gets going again, which is more than alarming if you're hurtling towards a corner, jump off the gas, and it just keeps going for 1 second, then nosedives. So you feel like you're not the one driving the car, and it makes you feel crook. Maybe that's why they hid the regen setting away. I do like that they have 3 levels of regen, but I don't like the way you choose them, and I don't like the way they've implemented them. You can fix this, Chery. Come on, I trust you. Apps, New Energy, other settings, regen, off, changed my mind. No, we're just going to drive it like a petrol car, because that was horrible. All right, so let's have a look at it. Like, some people think it's really stylish. I actually do like the wheels, and these are plastic bits on the alloys, so you can actually take these out. I saw on the spare you can do that, because guess what? Best thing about this car, are you ready? Ta-da! Full-size spare and a jack and a wheel brace, so you can even use it. When was the last time you saw that? That is good. This is the entry level one, poverty pack, so we don't get the electronic tailgate. But look, there it is. In a refrigerator kind of way, it's stylish. I think it's better looking than a RAV4, but that's not really saying much. Now the front, this is for the EV version only. So the grille on the petrol one looks like this. And I think that looks horrendous. That looks like a cross between a wasp's nest or the home for the terracotta warriors, or even a dose of the grayscale from Game of Thrones. But look, otherwise it's a reasonable looking car. I prefer not white, because white just says appliance, doesn't it? Till you get inside, and wow, it's actually really good. I do like the seats, the kind of leatherette with the cloth-ish, that works. And the two 12-inch screens, fantastic. Back seats, pretty good. Full of my junk at the moment. Not too bad anyway. It is only a small to mid-size SUV. How much load space has it got in the front? This bonnet is massive. That was very hard to do one-handed. You've got a tiny little 19 litres here, just big enough for your charge leads that don't come with the car. You've got to buy one. Charging flap. Okay, charging flap door. I like that having the centre there. That way you can park left or right of your charges. That's good. But as I found earlier, you've got to close the bonnet. You've got to have the bonnet closed for it to release the cable. And I can't do that one-handed. Now I can't get my hand in there to get to the catch. So that's really kind of awkward design. One-handed, we'll try and do that. Oh, hello. Don't get broken when I slam this. Okay, here we go. Now we can release the charge cable. I think that was the problem I had earlier on. Desperately in need of coffee. Oh, look. Better not drive off with that like that. People will laugh at me. They'll laugh at me anyway, but don't want to give them any more reason to. You're going to love this. If I want to change from radio to playing my Bluetooth music, as I was the other day, because my phone's connected. If I want to change to media, you go to your media screen, which I'm on now, and you're looking for how do I select FM or streaming media or something like that. You can't. There's nothing anywhere to change to my phone. I honestly can't find it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chery, but you can't do it until you find you've got a programmable button on the wheel here that I can hardly see because the lights aren't on at the moment, but I know there's a button here, and if you hold it in you can program it, and one of the options on programming that button is change media source. So I've done that now, so now I can change my media source. If I wanted to use that button for one of the other functions that it normally does, like there was mirrors and other things, I can't now because it's the only way I can change my media. We'll press on. It's starting to get jumpy.
Please continue.
Turn the fan off.
Okay.
And it turned it up.
I'm here.
Turn the fan down.
Okay.
And it did nothing.
Hello.
Turn the air conditioning off.
Okay.
Success. Media. Okay. And it's a delay as well. Notice that? I go unpause. Pause. Why the 1 second delay? We don't need that either. Alright, let's go. Oh, grind as the brakes come off. Let's come down the hill. Brakes don't feel particularly confidence inspiring. The grip's okay. It's not too bad. Turn it in. Oh yeah. Lots of intervention happening there. But it actually did a pretty good job. Suspension geometry at the front's a bit odd. Changes direction okay, you can see it's not lurching too badly from side to side. So roll and lurch is not too bad, ride's not too bad, bump suppression's pretty good. Under no circumstances should we pretend this is a sporty vehicle that you're going to take out to do this for fun, but it's still quite comfortable and does a good job. Hook it in, and before you know it, we've caught these slowbos again. Okay, first stop, Laguna. Oh my god, there's an EV charger here. Seriously? Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Oh well, why not? ABC, always be charging. And you know what? We're not going to bother with that charger. And I'm not going to be an EV hog, one of those dickheads that parks their EV at a charger but doesn't charge. That's a nice spot. Do you have any of your famous pork and fennel sausage rolls today?
Yeah, we have some left.
May I have one, please?
Sure. Do you have here?
Yes, I'll have here with a large flat white, please. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Oh, that's good. I'm feeling better already. Isn't it weird? There's only about half a dozen people here, and they still manage to find a way to park so that other people can't get through. I guess that's human nature, isn't it? Cheers. But where else would you be? A day like today, you can go for a drive in a nice car on a nice road, listening to the birds. Being wealthy, somebody said, is just having the time to do what you want to do. It's not really about money, is it? So I should de-stress a bit. It's just a car. Remarkably good car in many ways. Modern cars are just so good. It's got plenty of range. We're going to find out today exactly how much range. So I should just chill out, forget about all the devices and software. It's obviously a first generation attempt and it needs a bit of love, a bit of massaging on the software. But I should just forget about that. Set it up the way I like and just chill, put some music on. So next stop, Hunter Valley Gardens. There are some charges there. We're going to need it. Alright, so how much is a car like this, I hear you ask? Well, here are the prices. This is the entry-level BX, which is up there, and if you want the upgraded model, the EX, that's it there. What do you get for the extra cash? Heated seats, heated steering wheel, sunroof, 360 camera, powered tailgate, powered seats, not much else, a few trim things, better steering wheel, but you know, you may as well get this one. The drivetrain and everything else is exactly the same, so let's go cheap and cheerful. On the other hand, if you just want a petrol one, they're incredibly cheap, around 27 grand. Mind you, EVs have come down so much in the last year. A year ago I did a thing, all the EVs in Australia, Hyundai Kona and Kia Niro and Ioniqs 5 and 6 and those kind of cars, they're, you know, 60, 70 grand. But now you can buy a decent EV, a really decent EV for, you know, 40. It's a really good time to be buying a car, whether it's petrol or an EV. I'm going to show you a funny feature of this car, something you can't turn off. Well, you can turn it off, but every time you start the car again, it comes back on again. Now in this car, a lot of the features, the way you set it up, it actually retains them. There's no driver profile per se, but if you turn off lane keeping assist and, you know, that kind of stuff, it will actually remember that next time you get in the car, which is good. But one thing you can't turn off is this feature here. Let's say I'm driving and I stare at the screen. I look at the screen for a while. You have been distracted for a long time. You were looking at the screen for too long. You need to watch the road. Good advice. And somewhere in some province in China, some guy in an office just got an SMS saying, there's a bloke in Australia on the Wollombi Road who's not paying enough attention. I can tell you're worried about Chinese security, aren't you? I have to show you the view here because this is actually a really nice part of the Hunter Valley, just an hour and a half, 2 hours out of Sydney. It's the wine region and it's just a lovely area to come for a day visit. So if you did have an EV like this and you felt like a day trip, this is exactly what you'd use it for, isn't it? It would have been touch and go to do the whole trip without a stop, but I can see it's not going to make it. So we will need to recharge at least once, and certainly because the putty road that we're going home on, there's nothing there. Anyway, we're here, Hunter Valley Gardens. And one good thing about this car, the charge port is right at the front centre. Makes it easy. 236 k's range. We're down to 59% battery. We've only done 146 k's. Please wait, use or tap your card below to authenticate. The NRMA charges used to be free. Not anymore. It's an app I don't have. So now I need reception. I've got the Charge Fox, I've got the EV, Plug Share, I've got a better route planner, I've got everything, but I don't have the NRMA app. But we do need to charge, otherwise we won't make it home. I can't see my economy because the music track's over the top of it. That's bad design. Go away. Change media source. These buttons also are really finicky. You've got to get them exactly right. They look like they're haptic buttons, but they're not. It's just a push button, but if you're slightly off, you get the wrong thing. Same with the screen here. If I push this car thing and I'm slightly off, I got the air conditioning instead. I go, now how do I get back to it? There's no home button. Pull that down, and now I can go there. Please switch the power to on. Okay, well, I am on. I am on. That was a mistake. Software glitch. 99%. Great. Can't install my NRMA. Send feedback. Feedback. Use. Understood. Okay. Well, that kind of screws us. I'm starting to see the advantage of a petrol car. There, you never thought I'd say that, did you? I mean, there's no queue. There's nobody waiting. I've registered with the app, given it my payment details, everything. Just as this morning, we're plugged in, waiting. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? It's rejected Stuart Greaves charge at the charge point. Call customer care. So how long so far? 1 hour.
And language or behaviour deemed to be aggressive or abusive may result in your termination.
You are terminated.
So have you chosen the Hunter Valley Gardens #1
Yep.
on the app?
Yep, and I go swipe, and
Yep.
it start charge rejected by the charge point.
Okay. It looks like everything is working on that one, so I can do a reset for you if you want to plug it back into the machine.
I'll try. I've got to do a manual release because the car's refusing to let go of it. Thank you. You've made it slightly less painful. Well, you can tell that was a wholly ungratifying experience. It just goes to show when you're starting out with an EV, it takes a while to learn all the little foibles and get a routine going. I obviously I'm not in a routine with that car yet, but we'll get there. But that was a particularly difficult experience. So what little treat have they brought for me now? Bacon and egg pie with aioli. Navigate to Putty.
Multiple results are found.
Beavis and Butthead party and event hire. No, this is too hard. Putty. Go. You can turn the volume down if that's too blinky for you. What the hell? Why are you beeping at me every 30 seconds? Get the fuck out of here. Lock it up. Not happy, Stu. Vehicle settings. Off. Turns on, no explanation. Do I want maintenance tips? Not when I'm driving, thanks? No. Wiper sensitivity. Okay, what have we got? Go ahead, hurt my feelings, standard, high, or snowflake. I choose snowflake. Okay, I'm kidding about that one. Wiper sensitivity, low, standard, high, or maximum. But not what I want. Why are you beeping at me? Speed limit assist, no. Confirmed. Turn them all off. Overspeed warning, off. Beeping so loudly. Lane departure warning, no. Lane departure intervention, no. Oh, grinds. Sounds like me getting out of an armchair when you take off. Grind, creak, groan. What is your problem? Right. You finished, car? Park. I'll tell you something really annoying about this car. We've set a destination in the nav. We've turned all the speed alerts off, saying I don't want to know about speed alerts and I don't want speed control. It's currently doing 82 k's an hour indicated. The GPS tells me I'm actually doing 78 k's an hour. It's an 80k limit, and you hear this all the time. And you hear that, so it's saying it thinks I'm speeding when I'm not, and you can't stop it. It doesn't appear here on the dash because it's saying I'm not going to do it, but the nav system still is. And I can't stop it. That drives you crazy. That makes the nav system unusable. So now we have to go back and do what we should be doing anyway, using Google Maps. Unfortunately, this is a remote area. There's no coverage here, so I can't actually set my destination in Google Maps. This has got preloaded maps. Interestingly, the car doesn't support over-the-air updates, so I don't know how that's going to get updated, but anyway. Cancel navigation.
Navigation has been cancelled. See
Okay.
you next time.
So there's one little glitch that needs to be ironed out. You're going, why don't you just drive at an indicated 78, Stu, then it won't be a problem. Well, an indicated 78 is actually a real 73, 74, and the guy behind starts to get annoyed going, mate, come on, it just shows this is really a first generation for Chery. They've come back on the market years after their Chery J1, their little $10,999, no more to pay, little woeful little hatchback there was, little buzz box, cheapest car in Australia for a while. And they've come back with this thing, and it's good. The chassis is good. Look at this. Round we go. Hook it in. Stays flat. It's pretty good. It's not an Ioniq 5N, but it's not bad. And finally, the car's actually, as long as you're smooth with your inputs, it's actually pretty grippy. That was actually really good. Here's a slow corner, 25. Bring it right down. Power out. Little bit of wheel spin from the inside wheel then. The way that puts the power down is not so good, but if you're just flowing along smoothly, feeding it in, that's actually good. I mean, they're slow corners. This one's signposted at 35 k's an hour. You come in at 80, exit at 68, 70. That's a recommended speed, by the way, not an enforced speed. And you wouldn't do that in the wet, but pretty good. So there you go. Body dynamics actually better than I gave it credit for earlier. I don't know, maybe I've woken up the steering. It seems to be pointing a bit better now. I really didn't like the steering around town. It's in sport mode, it's not heavy, it's still nicely weighted. But the electronics are not right yet. This software needs to be sorted out. Chery, get 100 people, let them all drive around as far as they can, write down all the things they don't like, and give a prize to the person that can come up with the most faults of all your staff. Then take all those faults, the top 100 things on the list, just do them, please. Starting with over-the-air updates. You need that if you're going to fix things on the fly. Okay, it's lucky the sound system's not too bad because there's no control over the sound stage. There's no bass or treble, not even balance. If you've got a sleeping child in the back, you can't even put the volume forward or left or right. Nothing at all, just volume, which is pretty weird because even 50 years ago we had little bass and treble control. So unless I'm missing something, if you know more than I do and I'm wrong, tell me. But I honestly cannot find anything to adjust the sound stage. Righto, I thought I'd give this regen another go, seeing as I've found it in the settings. Accelerate, lift, nothing, then braking. Accelerate again, pause, go. Come to a corner, lift off, oh, it keeps going fast, then it settles. Look, I don't get seasick in cars very easily, you know, Rally Navigator and all that, but this car is making me seasick because it's not doing what I ask it when I want to. Lift off, wait, then it dives. The Regen 3 setting is not usable. I seem to have woken up the steering a little bit as well. It's better than it was this morning. Maybe I've scrubbed the tyres a little bit. It's got plenty of zip. Look, here's a bit of a straight. Boom, off we go. It goes, but you don't feel like you have to do that. Slow down, buddy. Okay, drive modes. We've got Eco, Normal, and Sport. For me, Sport's the only option. It tightens up the steering a little bit. It makes it palatable. In Eco mode, it's just horrible. It's just vague and all over the place. But Sport mode's as good as you get. It's still not a Porsche Cayman, but it's better. It also sharpens up the throttle, and that's about it. There are no adaptive dampers or anything like that. But it actually doesn't matter because the ride is actually one of the strong points of this car. Around town it didn't really impress me, but on the open road, particularly all the potholes we've had today, we've had some very bad roads today, it actually rides nicely. Probably helped by the skinny 215 tyres on it. The suspension damping is actually good. The seating position's great. I like the wood grain. It might be fake wood grain, but it's nice. It's not in your face. It's classy, this car. The vision's good, the mirrors are good, the seating position's good. I've got plenty of adjustment. It's manual in this because it's the BX, the base model. The cruise control works well. The lane keeping assist is an abomination. It'll have you darting from one side of the lane to the other, hitting the markers. It's just not calibrated correctly. Now, China's a hot topic, isn't it? In the States, they're talking about banning Chinese EVs because of all the sensors they have. Cameras, ultrasonic, radar, recording everything, and who knows where they're sending it. Suddenly they're getting quite paranoid about national security. So I'm much more worried about my phone, the world's biggest marketing company. They take your data and it goes everywhere. as you know, if you go to the pub and buy too many beers and come home, the next day on your phone you'll be getting ads for some sort of pharmaceuticals to help your diabetes or something like that. You know how you talk about something in the lounge room in a quiet conversation, and the next day your phone pops up with ads for that thing? Well, don't be paranoid about your car, be paranoid about your phone. It's got a lithium battery in it. You put it in your pocket. If you're worried about the cars bursting into flames, which is a nonsense, the statistics do not bear that out. Petrol and diesel cars much more likely. Rant over. I'm not concerned about Chinese EVs. I love the quality. Who's making EVs in China now? Everybody. BMW, Mercedes, even the Koreans, you know, Kia and Hyundai have the reputation for quality now. They're getting a lot of their components and cars made in China, because they've got the latest, the best factories. Servicing, as you know, they hardly need any. And look, if you're buying one on a novated lease, which includes registration, insurance, petrol, servicing, tyres and fuel, or in this case electricity, it's something you just don't have to worry about. This car, 8-year warranty on the battery, 7-year warranty on the car itself, unlimited kilometres. But after that, well, you're going to buy it on a lease, you're going to keep it 3 or 5 years, then it'll be gone. It won't be your concern. In that time, you will have paid nothing for it, because it's all included on your novated lease. Well, I think you'll find it'll be fine. So here's an example of something the car does well. This is a bumpy, uneven B road, but it's actually cushioning out the bumps very, very well. Pothole, heard it, but hardly felt it. Again, rough section. No, it's doing a great job. I think this is the advantage of having slightly skinnier tyres. If we had 245s or 255s that you would normally find on a car like this, instead we've got 215s, doing a good job. And you might be wondering, why am I using my phone here rather than using Android Auto and projecting it up there? I couldn't get it to connect. I don't think it's a fault of the car. It's an old phone, so I'm not going to fault the car on that. But yes, I've had my nav here fighting against the nav there to see who does a better job. The maps in the car are embedded. You don't need a data connection for them to work, whereas I do on Google Maps. And a lot of today's been out of range. As soon as it thinks I'm going 2k's over the limit, regardless of how the car's set, it shouts at me. This is actually the perfect environment for this. See how nice that is? Power, instant power when you need it. Give it a bit of a punch and you're off. Slow down, Stu. But the instant you want to go, no stalling, just instantly, whoop. Bit of wheel spin, as you can see, and we're instantly at the speed limit. Okay, well the trip's over. We're charging at 49 kilowatts, and the poor sea lion next to us, we've stolen all his power. He was here before us, and he's only getting 19, and he's only half full as well. He should be getting more than that. So I'll do the graph and tell you what the real range is. This morning it indicated 400 when I left. I'll throw over to VoiceOver Stu to tell you the whole story. So today's loop was 370 kilometres. Would it have made it round without charging? No. Realistically, the range of this car is about 350 k's, well short of the 435 they claim. Now for the record, I was not pushing. My average speed was only 65 k's an hour for the whole trip, and there weren't a lot of hills, and my efficiency was really good at around 17.4 kilowatt hours per 100k. Look, at the end of the day, mechanically this car is decent enough. Ride, comfort, efficiency, practicality, all not too bad. But the software interface feels like it's half finished. It's like they rushed it to market without proper user testing. Now that should easily be fixed, but at the moment, despite being reasonable value for money, I'm disappointed, and sorry to say, no, I wouldn't consider buying an Chery Omoda E5. It's a car for people that don't like cars. And now it's an advertisement. This one is important, so no, you cannot skip it. If you're going to review a sports car properly, you have to find a twisty road with some real corners and actually drive it. Spend some time with it. That's what we do.
This turns in beautifully. That's a lovely corner there.
So for real reviews of classic and sports cars like these, from the affordable to the exotic, take a trip down under with us, inCARnation Australia. See you there.